Hello. How's everybody doing? New Zealand represent. It's past your bedtime, isn't it? Oh, cold and stormy. No fun at all. 12:31 p.m. Okay. Man, I'm telling you, my back is shot. 2 days of picking up those deep boxes. I think only 2 colonies probably had less than maybe 25 pounds or so. Most of them are pretty good shape. I went ahead and give every colony a gallon of syrup anyway. Bees are looking good. Tons of pollen coming in. They're going wide open on it. Yeah, man, I've got a heating pad on my back right now. My lower back is killing me. Hey Grayson, how's it going in your neck of the woods? I've got some kind of weird thing going on. My stream is like 15 seconds behind my chat for some reason. Not sure what's going on with that. I need to find some different software to stream with. OBS is too aggravating to try to learn and set up. Yeah, I started beating yesterday. Got all my colonies. Pretty much went through all of them. Shifting frames, rotating boxes if I needed to. I've got, well, I went and got 250 pounds of sugars this morning and got all that stuff whipped up into syrup, and I just spent the entire day pretty much just going through the rest of my bees and getting those ladies fed up, put some more weight on them, and get them pushing on down the road. I've got one colony that's pretty much preparing to swarm. StreamYard. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I don't know. I think OBS is having a problem with the latency or something. It had an update and I didn't update it. I just hit remind me later, so I probably should have updated it before I streamed tonight, but I guess I didn't think it would affect it that much. Hopefully the stream looks good on your end. Do I do the dimmer in? No. No, that's a good method. It's just a whole lot of extra work, I think. And you need to have a ton of drawn out combs for that to be really effective, and I don't really have it. I'm trying to add numbers more than I've been worried about getting honey, and I use all my combs for that. All my mediums and my shallows, I've got both sizes of honey supers. I've got quite a bit of combs for them now, but I'm gonna run some singles this year for honey production, and I'm gonna be really having to put some combs on them to start with, just to keep them from heading out and hitting the trees on me. Oh, it's a good iced tea. That's another thing I don't do, or I've tried it in the past, but I'm not doing it this year, is setting swarm traps. Hey Troy. Switch boxes around. Hey, if they're alive, that's a win. As much trouble as everybody's having, if you got some bees that are healthy and still kicking, then you did good with that colony. That's how I'm looking at it. I've got every hive I own inspected today, except for that last 5-frame nuke, and I'm gonna dig in it tomorrow. I just could not do any more today. I thought I was gonna have to call you to come over here and help me get to the house. My back's hurting so bad. It's a shame you was working. You could have come over here and blew your back apart like I did mine. Texture work, but it's how I pull foundation fast, prevent swarming. Yeah, I try. Man, it's such a pain in the butt sometimes trying to fight those swarms, especially the young queens. They just put slabs upon slabs of brood in there, and you're just constantly taking brood out, sticking it in smaller colonies. I would say here in probably about 3 weeks there's going to be some swarming going on. If we keep the same weather we've got now, they're going to be swarming, because I've got one out there. I've done smashed some charged up queen cups. I smashed 10 cups, 2 of them had eggs. I took some brood out and gave to a smaller colony. Yeah, I don't know, man, what in the world is going on with that. So many colonies are just dead. There has to be a common denominator, no matter the location, because it's not just centralized in one area. It's happening all over. I know that we had that big drought, which a lot of areas had a drought this year, I just don't think people were feeding like they needed to feed. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, I fed so much. Uh, I fed all last year 2,400 pounds of sugar made into syrup. And then I fed 400 pounds of sugar made into bricks. From August all the way to December, I had to just constantly feed. And there, during the hottest months, toward the end of August, those 90, 92, 93 degree days, I mean, it was like they were just sucking the syrup down. They weren't storing it. They weren't doing anything with it other than consuming it. And then by the time fall arrived, we had tons of fall flowers, but we didn't have enough rain for those flowers to really secrete any nectar. So you could look out there and see, oh yeah, there's a field of goldenrod over there, and there's asters popped up over here, but it needs a certain amount of rainfall for those flowers to not only grow but to start producing the nectar. And this year it didn't get it. I mean, my goldenrod back here behind the house, it was some of the prettiest stand of goldenrod I've ever seen, and it got so pretty and bright yellow, and maybe 4 days is all it lasted. It just started to shrivel up, and then we had a big storm come through, and it blew all the plants down all the way to the ground, just broke all the stems off. So, zero nectar flow for the fall. Put one primer brood plus a queen in the bottom and the other 9 foundation. Excluder supers of brood boxes. It's bad for the back. Yeah, there's several guys that's lost every single bee they had. And the thing is, it's all these guys are always talking about supplementing the heck out of their bees with all these additives. That stuff is pricey. It's expensive, and I've tried it here and there. Just like I'm going to get probably so much hate for this, but Hive Alive, I've tried it a couple different times. They take that fondant in good. That's a good product to stick on your colony, in the winter if you don't want to make sugar bricks. But look at the price of that compared to what a sugar brick cost you. Now, there's no additives in that brick, but I've played with feeding both. I've played with the Hive Alive additive that you put in syrup, and I haven't seen a bit of difference in my bees between either or. So I don't buy all that crap to add to my feed. I give them that good pure cane sugar syrup, and they thrive on it. That's all they need. The only thing really that I believe in is the pollen patties. If you don't have, good natural pollen coming in, sticking a patty on there will help them a lot. But honeybee healthy and all this other stuff, yes, ripple effect. It's insanely expensive. What's a pack, like a fondant pack of Hive Alive, like $8 or something per pack, or $6 for a 2 pound patty. can give like 75 cents per pound of sugar, throw a little water in there and make a big brick out of it. I make 5-pound sugar bricks. I mean, that's half the price of a Hive Alive fondant patty, and it's twice the weight. More than twice the weight. Troy lost 1 out of 5. Only 50 gave sugar bricks to go, and then a week ago pollen patties. Which hive did you lose? Was it that swarm from last year? £10 of Hive Alive is $70? Are you serious? Yeah, the swarm. That's a price on Amazon. Gotcha. Yeah. $70 for holy cow, man, that is crazy. But people, they're buying that stuff up. They think it's the greatest thing on the planet. I am not sold on it. I mean, I literally took 2 hives last year side by side. I gave one of them pure liquid syrup. The other hive I gave it, I bought the small bottle of Hive Alive. I mixed that in my syrup and give it to that one. And then the bees, they look pretty much the same all through the fall. And then when winter showed up, I gave the one Hive Alive fondant patty, and I kept my sugar bricks in the other. And coming out of winter this year, they don't look any different. There's pretty much no difference between them. The brood patterns are pretty close to the same. Of course, I mean, a good mated queen is going to kind of affect that a little bit as far as the brood and stuff, but as much talk as you hear about Hive Alive stuff and all these additives, that hive should have been twice the size of the one that I was just feeding plain sugar to. Grace and I'm at 53 colonies right now. Probably going to be 52 after tomorrow. There's one colony that I didn't inspect today, and it's a 5-frame nuke. I had another nuke that went queenless through the winter, and I combined it with the one that I've got out there now. But whenever I done it, I didn't see any brood in it either. So I think both my nukes have perished, which would have me coming out of winter with 52 out of 54. I've got all my equipment built, frames waxed up and ready to add 25 this spring, and then the rest I'm just gonna have to try to sell. I'll have a ton of splitting to do. I've got probably 15 hives that I could split right now. Problem is, there's no drones flying, so that would be pointless. Those queens need to be mated. I've got quite a bit of drones that are about to be capped over, but I really like for them to be walking before I do my splits if possible. I have fondant for emergency feeding if you set aside for obvious venturing. Feed served not mostly, yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I just, it might be different for some of these big beekeepers and these big YouTubers, because I'm sure they get a little percentage taken off what they buy probably for a lot of those products, but I'm not sold on it enough to want to buy any of that crap. I tried Honey Bee Healthy. I see people all the time talking about that. The only time that I've used it and liked it was in sugar bricks, and I just used it in that because I had some of a bottle left over, because I made a major mistake. I think I've told Troy this, but I made a major mistake with that Honey Bee Healthy, and I had the awfulest robbing. I mean, my house was being robbed by honeybees. I wish I would have had that on video. I was too busy panicking. You would not have believed what had happened. I agree 100%. Snake oil. I agree 100% with that comment. Has any of you guys used Honey Bee Healthy? I have to know this now that I'm thinking about it. Anybody? I know David Burns sure likes Honey Bee Healthy. He puts it in all his big fondant cakes, I think, that he sells. What's he call them things? You haven't tried Honey Bee Healthy? Left the window open. Oh man. I would say that was a nice little rainstorm of bees. Well, I'll tell you what I did. Sugar water, yeah. Yeah, sugar water, an occasional pollen sub here and there. I don't buy all that other stuff. I'm not ever buying or touching Honey Bee Healthy ever again. I'm not sold on Hive Alive a tiny bit. Well, let me tell you what I did. So before I made my mixing tank, this is when I had like 16 hives. So I was making syrup in the kitchen on the stove. Well, and all it took was one, the cap for the Honey Bee Healthy bottle is small. It's like the size of a bottle cap. All it takes is one cap full of that stuff. I mean, you can smell that stuff from so far away. But I had a big kettle. It's like a 3-gallon kettle on the stove, whatever size it is for like a turkey fryer. It might be a 4 or 5 gallon, whatever that thing is. But I had it on my stove full of sugar syrup, and I took one capful of that Honey Bee Healthy and I poured it in there, and I got it all stirred up and mixed up, and I just had the stove on low heat, and I walked outside and thought, well, that sugar is going to take a little bit to kind of melt down and mix in. It'll give me time to go out here. I went down to my parents' house. I can throw a rock almost and hit the side of their house with it. I went down there for, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes. And then I walked back up to the house, and I didn't, I heard bees, because it's like in the middle of summer, there's a whole lot of bee action going on in my front yard. So I didn't pay that much attention to it, but it just seemed louder than normal. So I opened up my back door, leads into the kitchen, and I'm telling you, there were thousands, I mean thousands of bees in my house. Those ladies, you know how you've got your exhaust vent or your range? Those bees went inside my exhaust vent, crawled all the way down, came out of the hood for the range, and were flying around in my kitchen. There was a row lined all the way around that kettle. They covered the range. They were crawling up and down the cabinets, all over the stove. Man, you want to talk about having a fit. Seems mostly people have something to sell you. Yeah. Yeah, I get emails all the time from all these, all these bee supply stores telling me I needed to buy this, and if I want I seen one, and it was, I'm not going to say who it was, but I mean, I'm sure some of you guys might have seen an email from them, but I got an email like 2 days after the whole bee colony loss thing came out, and the first thing, I clicked on that email to look at it because it said stuff was on sale, so I'm definitely going to check it out. I clicked on it and looked, and the first thing that pops up was basically, in layman's terms, if you want your bees to survive the 2025 colony crash disorder, then buy this product. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And it's a very well known company. That made me realize how money hungry people are. Mix it with water hose. Well, now I've got a 55-gallon drum, and I built this big pipe system inside that thing, and a sump pump is hooked on that pipe. It's a 2-inch pipe, and it circulates the water in there, and I've got a hole in the top that I can just pour the sugar down and let it mix. So I can make 50 gallons of syrup at one time. That's what I done this morning. I went and bought 250 pounds of sugar and made, well, I put 30 gallons of water in there, but when you add 250 pounds of sugar, it gives you about 52 gallons of syrup. Yeah, beekeeping is definitely not boring. It'll keep you on your toes every time you turn around. The more bees you've got, the more stressed out and wide open you seem to move. So I know coming out of winter, I'm seeing all these people take these losses. I was stressing out. The weather finally warmed up, and then I started seeing activity. That was a little pressure off of me, but I definitely got the pressure off of me after these past 2 days of inspecting all my colonies. They're all looking good. Matt and Sandy. or Matt at Sandy Valley Honey Company. Hey, man. You don't cook it on the stove. Well, when I had just a few hives, I cooked it on the stove. Just to, I basically just heated it a little bit to get the sugar dissolved quicker. I didn't boil it or anything, that's for sure. Where are you located at, Matt? What part of the country are you in? The bees doing good? Are they taking off yet? Pollen rolling? You do make small batch sugar syrup on the campus stove. Yeah, I seen you. That's the first time I've ever seen somebody use sparkling water. Or was that just a sparkling water bottle? Hopefully it was. If you mix it up good, it dissolves in cold water. Yeah. Yeah, that's what my tank out there does. Tap water, thank goodness. I thought, well, whenever I watched that video, I thought, surely he's not giving those bees carbonated water. Them things will be gassy as hell. Oh, okay. You didn't catch it till later on? That gives them the best, yeah. I bet his tap water is a lot better than what we have. He's in New Zealand. That's probably some of the best tasting water on planet Earth. Most of that video was for one of my hobbies. I'm trying to teach how to make syrup. Uphill, yeah. So what did you ever figure out about the, I couldn't say the hive theft, but maybe the honey theft? Have you set up a camera, or if I was you, I would walk around and see if I couldn't find somebody that might have witnessed somebody digging around in them colonies. When am I going to add super to my hives? Well, I would say probably I'll be splitting if the weather holds out, probably here in about 3 weeks. And I'm not sure what your location is. In my area, I'll be probably putting supers on mid-April, late April probably. We have a pretty decent spring flow here. And all the rain and the snow that we've had this year, I think that we're going to have a really good spring flow. Pollen's coming in, maples and elm. Dead nettle, hen bent, yep. Open feeding. Yeah, I open fed, I think it was either last week or week before, probably about 12 gallons, and then the weather turned off cold again, and I had to wait a little bit, and then today I mixed up and gave every colony a gallon of 1-to-1. Kentucky State Beekeepers Association voting for a style of honeybee license plate. Really? What is that on? Is that on their website, Troy, or they doing that on Facebook or what? Setting up the camera to figure it out. Complete opening hive and honey frames. Yeah, man, I cannot believe the audacity of people just to pop your hive open and just yank frames out and steal it. It's a shame you can't get your hands on some African bees. Let them pop the top on one of those colonies. As mean and cruel as that sounds, that's what they deserve. Their webpage? Alright. I'll have to check that out this evening. Honey theft is more of a North Island problem with the Manuka honey. I've heard a whole lot about that honey. I always wanted to try some of it. Start putting GPS trackers on your pallets. Well, after what's happened across the country with everybody losing their bees, I would have to imagine that some people might get a little desperate. It's probably not a bad idea, honestly. ripple effect. What's your location? I got a question to ask you. Doesn't really matter where you're from, but it's something that Kentucky's in the middle of trying to change. I'm just curious what it's like where you live. So previously here, beekeepers were only allowed to produce up to 150 gallons of honey. Anything past 150 gallons, we were required to have a certified honey house to extract and bottle that honey. So right now, and I think I'll have to look, but I think it's really close to passing that they're upgrading the 150 gallons to 500 gallons, which is going to be like a lifesaver for me, because I'm totally expecting this year to surpass 150 gallons. I had last year 130, so I know that I was going to break that limit this year. Tastes like maple syrup on cinnamon toast. What is that? Is that a... Hell, I can't even pronounce it. Is that a bush or a plant or a tree or... I mean, look at that. I've never even heard of it. Huh. Well, that's a neat looking... That's a bush, looks like. Or some kind of big weird looking plant. Hey DC. Karmahi. Okay. Yeah, I would have butchered it anyway if I'd tried to pronounce it. I live way out in the middle of nowhere in the sticks. It's a wonder I can even operate this computer. Yeah, DC, that's a photo from last year's. I can't quit using it because it's just so awesome looking. That's a box of bees right there. For studies in medical grade honey, like Manuka, it's more common than they thought. I wish I knew how to operate this OBS crap. Google that plant he was talking about. Man, you guys have all kinds of honey producing plants and stuff that I've never heard of before. Yeah, DC, that picture's from last year. I've got I've got two colonies that are exploding that look a whole lot like that right now. I mean, I've done I've done had to crush some charged queen cells. Hey Bob, Rock Castle? Well, you're not far from me then. Or you live around Mount Vernon or something somewhere over there? I think Manuka's overrated. Apprentice people used to panic about getting Manuka honey in their supers. Now it's the honey most people associate with New Zealand. That's all I've ever heard associated with New Zealand honey, to be honest. I've never heard of, these other honeys coming from over there. Broadhead? Gotcha. A lanternfly honey is even brighter on the medical grade list. Forget the name of the bug. They bite the tree and the bees get nectar from the bug. Is that the lanternfly? Is that that bug that they had a big spiel about last year? About you needed to kill every one of them you seen? They call that honey. There's a particular name for it. Yeah, that lanternfly eats stuff and then it secretes this liquid that they spit out onto the tree, and then the bee honeydew. Yeah, you got it. Honeydew. See, I know all these things have words and terms, but I'm just so stinking tired I can't think of nothing. I think I'll probably be about half crippled in the morning when I get up, because my back right now, I mean, this heating pad, it's helping it some, but North Carolina's got the purple honey. What was it made from, Troy? I've read about that too, but like I said, my brain's not working. I can't think of where it comes from. we have trees that produce the honeydew, including one that's the most poisonous. See, now I can't even talk. That's the most poisonous New Zealand vine. You have to test your honey if you live in that area. Tutu. No relation to the dress. The aluminum in nectar reacts and turns purple when it hits the digestive system of bees. Huh. Well, buy some and bring it over here and let me try it, Troy. $5 honey, even better. Get us a jar. I do too, Bob. Always learning something. Sand Hills, North Carolina. Well, if you leave now, then you can zoom right on over there and get us a jar of that. Zoom on back and be here in time enough for dinner tomorrow night. You have to be pretty zoomy though. That's a good haul. Eight ounces is $70. I gotta get this heating pad off my back. I'm sitting here sweating. Yeah, me too, Matt. Go over there and have a heck of a bee operation going. We can be partners. It's called blue honey. Huh. You might want to wait a couple years and move here. Our bee population ain't doing the best right now. Yeah, you guys are pretty limited on what you can get, huh? I'm sure it costs a small fortune just to ship anything there. You're probably a lot better off building your own equipment if you can get a hold of some saws, or if you know somebody that's got the tools to do it. Just get the measurements and stuff, uh, like from a plain Langstroth hive, and you can build it pretty easy. It'd be neat to have a jar for conversation. Yeah, it would be hard to spend $70 for a jar of honey and not want to eat it though. Then again, it would be hard to eat a $70 jar of honey. Costs 3 times so much to build a lot yourself. I wish I could build more of my own equipment, but heck, the way I see, I've barely got enough time to build what little I do build. I've been building a lot of my own uh, hive stands and migratory lids and shims, and just quick simple things like that. uh, I don't have I've got the tools to build the actual boxes, but I've tried that once, and the lumber that I got was just poor quality. I built, I think, 9 deep boxes, and that wood is beginning to warp like no other. And I haven't treated it any different than what I treat any of this wooden wire that I buy. It was dipped in eco wood like the rest of that stuff. It's just, I guess it wasn't dried, and that stuff just is warping and it's pulling apart at the seams. So after taking the extra time and the money to cut all them pieces and build them and glue them and all that, I'll just buy my stuff. Except now I've got Troy Hess over there to start buying stuff from. Bob, if you need any equipment, Troy Hess right there in chat. He's in Science Hill. He can hook you up. He's got some really good quality stuff. Hint, hint, Troy, chime in there. You've got some doing the same. Yeah, it's most of the most of the stuff that I've bought from, bee supply stores has been fine. But this stuff that I built, I used lumber from Lowe's, and that stuff sucks. Troy, are you still in chat? I can get you, if you have Facebook, Bob, I can get you his uh, Facebook info. Take it easy, Matt. Thanks for dropping in. Take care of those bees. There he is. Yeah, he's still got his ears on. Yeah, cypress boxes. That wood is tough. It beats the pants off that little sissified white pine. Yeah, you need to post that crap, Troy. I've been trying to get you to show a price list for 3 weeks now. Yeah, he does have a ton of stuff, Bob. He's got frames, foundations, deeps, mediums, bottom boards. He's got the works. Unfortunately, he didn't have all this stuff whenever I made my big purchase this year. He waits till I spend about 3 grand somewhere else before he tells me he's going to start selling equipment. Better late than never. Yeah, I guess you're right. I'll let you buy with that one. Yeah, yeah. I would have way rather had cypress than all this pine equipment that I bought. But I gotta look at it this way. I may need some more honey supers before the year's over, so I'll definitely be hitting him up for that. I've got plenty of deeps. I'm adding 25 or 26 colonies and no more. I'm cutting it off. I'm not trying to hit no 100 hives this year. Untreated cypress of Outlast painted pine, I believe at 100%. I've got a few cypress boxes that I've dipped in that eco wood treatment, and they look better than new with that stuff on them. When I buy more that cypress equipment from you, they'll be going into eco wood as well. I've done enough painting this year. I'm not painting anything else. Hey Mark, how's it going in your neck of the woods? Thinking about next year offering dip boxes. It's not a bad idea. I don't have any wax dipped equipment. Heck, I never could afford that stuff. It's expensive. I am thinking about buying a insulated hive to mess around with. I don't know if you guys have seen that new uh, insulated hive that Hilco has got. It's supposed to be a rival to Apime, but I thought that'd be neat to get and check out. Maybe do a review on it or something. Wax dipping is common, especially on the coast. Just got feeder shims off. Yeah, I done the same thing today. I stripped all my shims off, removed any sugar bricks that were left. Uh, Fed every colony a gallon of 1-to-1 syrup. Made sure I was queen right. So they're all looking great. I've had one hive that was queenless, and then the last colony I'm gonna check tomorrow. I don't think it's queenless, but I think the queen just didn't get mated well because it was a late season swarm last year. So I think it's gonna fail. And if that one kills over on me, then I'll have 52 out of 54 coming out of winter. So I'm extremely happy and ecstatic with that. Did I use my leftover bricks for syrup? No. It's a pain in the butt to bust those bricks up to make syrup with. So I just store them things in a tote, and I reinstall them next time. They'll get put back in the hives in December, along with a crap ton more. I have a Randy Oliver Golden West Queen package coming. Last of April. I can get a good quality wooden deep box for it to start. That's awesome, man. I've heard a lot of good things about those queens. Well, Troy can hook you up with some awesome Cypress equipment. And you're not far from him. He's in Science Hill. A hop, skip, and a jump, and you'll be there. He gets invited to the North Island Beekeeping Convention all the time. Randy Oliver's famous everywhere, I think. That guy is a wealth of knowledge. You got beekeeping friends in Kenya that quote his research. That's cool, man. Guys, I believe my back has had as much as it can take in this chair. I think I'm gonna have to lay in the floor and sleep tonight. I mean, I've got a lumbar pillow in this chair right now, and I'm telling you, it's like every time I move or wiggle, it just shoots a pain straight into my lower back. I did way too much hunkering over and picking up boxes like this. I've done that for 2 days straight, all day. Some of those deep still had 45, 50 pounds of stores in them still, and it's just wrecked my spine. Do I use full deeps for honey? Yes and no. In the fall, I let the bees fill up as much as that top deep as they can with honey, and when that gets as full as I want it to get, then I'll add a medium, super, or shallow, whichever I've got, and they can finish out the season filling up that medium if they can. I'll let them keep the top deep to overwinter on. But this past year, they had that top deep, and it was empty. So I had to feed like crazy for them to get stores up there. I had zero nectar flow this fall, none. So I fed like crazy, and I think that's why I've seen good success, especially this year. This year is the first time I've ever lost a colony coming out of winter. My first time ever. And I have to blame it on queen loss. You know, that's like what we were talking about earlier. I don't feed all the, I don't put all these supplements and all these essential oils and all this crap in my feed. They get sugar syrup, or they get some pollen sub, or a pollen patty. That's it. They don't get anything else. No hive alive, and no honeybee healthy, and no nothing. And my bees are alive and they look great. Yeah, Bob, that's what I've done the past 2 days was crack open double deeps. Most of those top boxes had a ton of honey still in there, but the bees were eating my sugar bricks instead of the honey. And I'm glad that they do that. The sugar is a lot cleaner than honey. The bees don't have to take cleansing flights to clear their gut out as often eating sugar as what they do with honey. You got a call? Alright, man. Thanks for dropping in, Troy. Be safe. use deeps for everything. Those honey supers weigh a little. Whenever I use in all my supers that I have drawn comb in, I use frame spacers. So when I've got a 9 frame medium super and it's completely drawn out, big pretty fat combs, and it's full, that box will weigh 55, close to 60 pounds. 10 frame super will weigh about 40 to 50 if it's just drawn out super thick. I'm not there's no way I could use deeps for honey supers, not without having some equipment to move that. I'd be in a hospital. I'm bitching about my back now. I wouldn't be able to, heck, I'd be in a wheelchair. Standard there is 9 frame super, 10 for brood. Some people even use 8 frame supers here. I mean, you're talking those frames, I mean, those dudes are like 3.5 inches thick. Yeah, me too, Bob. I guess me and you could have a hospital room together. Guess we could have a doctor put a YouTube video on with some beekeeping while we getting our backs operated on, lifting them things. Heck with all that. You know, you've got arms lifting honey all day. Yeah. Person take them some creatine or protein powder before working a big bee yard full of deep supers. Heck, you come out there looking like Schwarzenegger. Well, guys, I think it's going to be about time I call it a night. I'm going to hop off here and find me a snack and lay down on the couch for a bit before I hit the sack. Might catch a movie tonight or something if I can stay awake long enough. I appreciate you jumping in and hanging out and chatting. I uploaded a new video from today right before I went live, so you can hop in there and check it out if you want. Probably be the last one I upload for a week or so. Yeah, me neither, man. I'm gonna take it easy. We'll see you, Bob. Get a hold of Troy. Just reach out to him on Facebook, Troy Hess, or have your wife reach out to him, and he can hook you up some really nice cypress equipment. Better than the prices that you can buy pine. I promise you that. You guys, thanks for hanging out. Appreciated the chat. As always, it's fun. Alright, Bob. You guys have a good night. Have a good rest of the week. Take it easy.